Here is an uncomfortable truth that nobody talks about. You learned about the War of 1812 in school. You memorized the periodic table. You probably still remember that mitochondria is the powerhouse of the cell. But when it comes to managing your actual money, making smart financial decisions, and building wealth that could change your entire life, the education system went completely silent. According to a 2024 survey from the National Financial Educators Council, only about half of American adults can demonstrate basic financial literacy. That means if you are sitting in a room with 10 people, 5 of them have no real understanding of how money works. The average American correctly answers just 48% of basic financial questions. Most people are literally failing at managing the one thing that affects every single decision they make. This is not your fault. Nobody taught you, but today, that changes. Over the next 3 videos, we are going to cover everything schools should have taught you about money, but never did. By the end, you will understand exactly where you stand financially right now. You will know how to create a realistic plan that actually works. And most importantly, you will learn how to start building wealth, even if you are currently living paycheck to paycheck. Let us start with part 1, understanding where you really stand. Let me tell you about a woman named Melanie. Melanie is 32 years old. She earns $58,000 per year. She has a decent job, a nice apartment, and what she considers a normal life. But Melanie has a problem. She has no idea where she actually stands financially. She knows roughly how much she makes. She knows roughly what her bills cost. But she has never sat down and calculated the real numbers. Melanie is like trying to navigate to a destination without knowing her starting point. Most people are exactly like Melanie. They have a vague sense of their finances, but no clear picture. And you cannot create an effective plan without knowing exactly where you are starting from. Your financial starting point consists of 3 key numbers. These 3 numbers tell you everything you need to know about your financial health. Number 1, your net worth. Net worth is simply everything you own minus everything you owe. Add up the value of everything you own: your checking account, your savings account, any retirement accounts, your car, your home, if you own one, even valuable collections, if they are actually worth something. Now subtract everything you owe: credit card debt, student loans, car loans, mortgage, any money you borrowed and have not paid back. The result is your net worth. Melanie sat down and did this calculation. She owns about $12,000 in retirement accounts, has $3,000 in savings, and her car is worth about $8,000. Total assets, $23,000. She owes $19,000 in student loans, $4,000 on credit cards, and $6,000 on her car loan. Total debts, $29,000. Melanie's net worth, negative $6,000. Melanie was shocked. She makes decent money. She thought she was doing fine, but she is actually starting from below zero. Here is what might surprise you about net worth. According to the Federal Reserve, the median net worth for households under 35 is less than $39,000. If you are between 35 and 44, the median jumps to about $130,000. For those 45 to 54, it is around $240,000. If your net worth seems low, you are not alone. But now you know exactly where you stand. Number 2, your monthly cash flow. Cash flow reveals whether you are moving forward or backward each month. Track every dollar that comes in, track every dollar that goes out, for at least 1 full month. This sounds tedious, but this single exercise will teach you more about your spending habits than years of vague financial anxiety. Melanie tracked her cash flow for 1 month. Here is what she found. Income $4,300 after taxes, expenses rent $1,400, car payment and insurance $500, student loan payment $250, groceries $400, utilities and phone $200, subscriptions $100, dining out $350, shopping and random purchases $250, gas $150, everything else $300. Total expenses $3,900. Melanie's cash flow surplus $400 per month. $400 might not sound like much, but here is what Morgan Housel explains in The Psychology of Money. The wealth you build is not determined by how much you earn. It is determined by how much you keep. $400 invested every month at an 8% return becomes over $570,000 in 30 years. Understanding your cash flow shows you exactly how much wealth building potential you have every single month. Number 3, your financial runway. Your financial runway is how long you could survive if your income disappeared tomorrow. Take your monthly expenses and divide them into your total liquid savings. Liquid savings means money you can access quickly without penalties. Checking accounts, savings accounts, and money market accounts count. Retirement accounts do not count because of penalties for early withdrawal. Melanie's monthly expenses are $3,900. Her liquid savings are $3,000. Her financial runway, less than 1 month. This is a problem. According to the Federal Reserve, 37% of adults could not cover a $400 emergency without borrowing money or selling something. If Melanie lost her job tomorrow, she would be in serious trouble within weeks. Most financial experts recommend having 3 to 6 months of expenses saved, but even 1 month puts you ahead of a huge percentage of Americans. Here is why these 3 numbers matter so much together. Maybe your net worth is negative because of student loans, but your cash flow is positive and growing every month. That is a very different situation than having positive net worth but negative cash flow. Maybe your net worth looks decent because you own a home, but your cash flow is tight and your runway is practically none. That is dangerous even though the net worth number looks good. Each situation requires a different strategy. Ramit Sethi explains this in I Will Teach You to Be Rich. He says that personal finance is personal. The right strategy depends entirely on your specific numbers. Melanie now understands her situation clearly. Net worth, negative 6,000 needs to climb out of debt. Cash flow positive 400 has room to make progress runway. Less than 1 month vulnerable to emergencies now. She can create a plan that addresses all three problems in the right order. Most people approach financial goals completely wrong. They pick random numbers like I want to save $10,000 or I want to be debt-free without connecting those goals to what they actually want their life to look like. Let me tell you about a man named Gregory. Gregory used to set vague financial goals every January. Save more money, pay off debt, invest more. By February, he had already forgotten about them. Then Gregory learned about effective goal setting. Effective financial goals start with life goals, not random dollar amounts. Gregory asked himself, what do I actually want? He wanted the security of knowing he would not be destroyed by an unexpected expense. He wanted the freedom to eventually quit his stressful job and do something he actually enjoyed. He wanted to buy a house within 5 years. Once Gregory knew what he wanted his life to look like, he could reverse engineer the financial requirements. Job flexibility requires a larger emergency fund and lower fixed expenses. Buying a house requires a down payment, good credit, and stable income. Career change requires savings to survive during the transition. Gregory transformed vague wishes into specific, measurable goals with realistic timelines. Instead of I want to save more money, Gregory wrote, I want to save $15,000 for a home down payment within 24 months. Instead of I want to get out of debt, he wrote, I want to pay off my $8,000 in credit card debt within 18 months. These specific goals allowed Gregory to create an actual plan with monthly targets. Thomas Stanley studied millionaires for decades for his book, The Millionaire Next Door. He found that wealthy people almost always have clear written financial goals. People who struggle financially almost never do. The difference is not luck, it is clarity. Here is where most people mess up. They set goals that sound impressive but are completely unrealistic given their current situation. If your monthly cash flow surplus is $200, do not set a goal to save $30,000 in 1 year. The math does not work. You will get frustrated and quit. Better to set a goal you can actually achieve and build momentum. Your goals should also have different time horizons. Short-term goals within 1 year, build a starter emergency fund, pay off 1 credit card, start investing even a small amount. Medium-term goals, 2 to 5 years, pay off all consumer debt, save for a house down payment, build 6 months of emergency savings. Long-term goals, 5+ years, retirement savings, children's education, complete financial independence. The beauty of having goals with different timelines is that you can make progress on multiple fronts simultaneously. You might put $50 per month toward your emergency fund, $200 toward paying off debt, and $100 toward your house down payment fund. Each goal feeds into the others. As you accomplish short-term goals, you can redirect that money toward medium and long-term objectives. Now you know exactly where you stand financially. You understand your net worth, your cash flow, and your runway. You have learned how to set goals that actually matter. But knowing where you stand is just the beginning. In part 2 of this series, we are going to cover the practical strategies that turn knowledge into action. We will break down budgeting approaches that do not feel like torture. We will show you exactly how to build an emergency fund, even if you are living paycheck to paycheck. And we will reveal the debt payoff strategies that can save you thousands of dollars. The information in part 2 is what separates people who stay stuck from people who actually change their financial lives. Make sure you watch part 2 because your financial future depends on what you do next.